Hi everyone and welcome. This is an English lesson for the third grade high school students, and today we are going to learn how to present a tourist destination. You will analyze the structure of a presentation as well as give your own oral presentation using functional language. For this lesson, you will need your notebook, something to write with, and a smartphone or a laptop with internet connection. You will also need a QR code reader on your smartphone. You can stop this video whenever you feel it's necessary so you can copy the link or write something down. As I have already mentioned, today's topic is delivering a good presentation. What is a good presentation? What are its components? What do you think? I'm sure you all agree that what we are going to talk about is very important. Just like what we look at during a presentation. They say a picture is worth 1,000 words. And finally, how we present the content is significant. The language you use, your body language, the way you organize the presentation, all of this plays an important role. Let's go back to the content. You already have what you're going to present. In our previous lessons, you have created some materials. You have written two texts, one about your town as a tourist destination and another about a historic figure from your area. You have also created a mind map about cultural heritage in your town, which is a good starting point for creating a presentation. As for visual aid, PowerPoint presentation, infographic, or poster can be very helpful when delivering a presentation. Presentation skills are a vital element. If you have good content, great pictures, but you don't present them well, you're not going to deliver a good presentation. How to create a good PowerPoint and how to present in front of audience plays a crucial role. We will start with PowerPoint presentations. I'm sure you have created many as a student, but were they always good? What was your teacher's feedback? We have prepared a matching exercise for you. In it, you will have to connect the sentence halves in order to get the rules for a successful presentation. You can scan the code or copy the link now. Let's discuss these rules a little bit. They are very simple and logical, and yet we tend to forget them. We should use easy-to-read fonts. What does this mean? This means we should use fonts like Arial, Times New Roman, or something similar. Also, the font should be big enough for everyone to be able to read it. The font should also be in light colors if the background is dark, and vice versa. If the background is light, the font should be dark. As for the image, it should be high quality. It should be pleasant to look at even if you spread it across the whole slide. The content on the slide should be minimal, just a few bullets. You should avoid writing sentences, but if you do, don't put them with bullets. Also, you should put a plan of your presentation at the beginning. This helps the audience follow your presentation. One big no for PowerPoint presentation is overcrowding. One picture with a couple of keywords is enough. The text on the slides is once again for the audience. You can use it just as a reminder what you should talk about next. The main rule is to keep it simple. Now that we know how to design a good PowerPoint presentation, we need to talk about oral presentation. What are the do's and don'ts of presenting in front of an audience? In this exercise, you will group the statements into two groups, do's and don'ts, what we should and shouldn't do when giving an oral presentation. Copy the link or scan the code and sort out the rules. Here are some of important do's. You have to be organized first and foremost. Practicing in front of friends, family members, or at least in front of a mirror is a good idea. Once you get in front of the audience, you have to speak clearly, make eye contact with your audience. You can also use hand gestures. If you're afraid you will freeze, make notes and use them just to remind yourself what is coming next. And one last thing. Leave some time for questions. If you don't know the answers, it is okay. Just say you will check it later and let them know after you check. And here are some important don'ts. The first one is don't read the presentation. Your intonation is going to be completely wrong. You won't make any eye contact and you will be boring. Secondly, don't talk too fast, but not too slow either. Also, avoid saying instead make a pause till you remember what you want to say. Now, I said that hand gestures are okay, unlike fidgeting with your hands. This makes you look insecure, just like pacing around. There are some more rules, but these are enough to prepare a good presentation. This is again a link to our text about Ban Josip Jelačić. This text is going to be transformed into oral presentation, at least parts of it. You're going to do the same with one of your texts, the one about your town as a tourist destination, or the one about a historic figure. If you want to, you can create a new text about cultural heritage in your town with the help of the mind map you have already created. How can you transform a written text into an oral presentation? With signpost language. And what is signpost language? It's the words and phrases that help guide the listener through the presentation. In this matching exercise, you will match the signpost language with different parts of the presentation. Copy the link or scan the code and have fun. After you finish the exercise, you should copy it into your notebook. It will come in handy when writing your own narration. Let's apply what we have learned on our text about Ban Josip Jelačić. This is how we can introduce the topic. Just say, I'm going to talk about the famous Zaprešić tourist site, Novi Dvori State. Next, explain the structure of the presentation, like this. First, I'll tell you something about Ban Josip Jelačić and his connection with Novi Dvori. Then, I'll move on to the estate itself, and finally, I will finish off with the activities Novi Dvori have to offer to tourists. This way, the audience knows what I will talk about and how long it might last. When you move between subjects inside the presentation, signposting plays an important role. You're signaling the audience that you're moving to something new. Like, let's start with Ban Josip Jelačić. You will probably have pictures or other visuals in your presentation, and maybe you'll want your audience to pay attention to them. In cases like that, you can simply say something like, "You'll notice that he was always portrayed as a soldier." You may also want to give an example. Just say something like, "Ban Josip Jelačić was a great patriot and reformer. To illustrate this point, he fought for the right to use Croatian as official language and he abolished serfdom and tax paying." Sometimes, instead of using a signpost language to start a new subject, you will use signposts for finishing the subject like, "Well, I've told you all about Ban Josip Jelačić." When you're getting to the end, you'll want to summarize, to repeat important aspects of your presentation. You may say something like this: "In conclusion, Novi Dvori is a great tourist destination. If you happen to be in the vicinity of Zaprešić, stop by and enjoy its cultural and historical background." And finally, you have to end the presentation. This is one way of doing it. That's all from me today. Thank you for listening. So now it's your turn. Write a narration for one of your texts. Don't forget the signpost. Practice saying it aloud and then record yourself. You can use Vocaroo for this. Your teacher from virtual classroom can give you feedback. And the final activity, assessment. What do you think? Which two things were you good at? And what can you improve? I hope you had fun today. Till next time. Bye.